Hi, I'm Julie Stern, and I want to share the number one root cause for why educators are feeling overwhelmed and what we can do about it. First, we have to recognize where we are in place and time. Why do our lives feel more hectic than any generation before it? The answer lies with exponential change and rapid growth. One of the biggest changes for generations today is the staggering exponential growth in the human population. And that's correlated with lots of other astoundingly rapid changes. For instance, in the US, the rise of healthcare costs have grown exponentially, while wages have remained relatively flat, forcing many Americans to choose between medical treatment and other basic necessities. And of course, there's the rise in technology use. In just 10 years, the amount of time spent on a digital device more than doubled, and these are pre-COVID numbers. The rise in social media consumption is correlated with the rise of depression among our youth. Again, this is pre-COVID, and educators are witnessing these tolls daily. There's one area with exponential decline, the global wildlife population. In just 30 years, over half of the total population of wildlife disappeared. Sadly, as the human population increases, other species decline. In his book, Education in a Time Between Worlds, Zach Stein points out that the vast majority of humans lack the capability to respond to this change and complexity. So what does this mean for educators? Here's an analogy. Previous generations of teachers were standing at the summit of a mountaintop, and they could see all around them. They knew what students needed to know and be able to do in order to live fulfilling lives. But for today's generation of teachers, it's as if we're standing at the bottom of the mountain and we can't see what's on the other side. It's not enough to simply teach students established knowledge and skills and hope they'll lead fulfilling lives. We know it and they know it. Outdated testing, curriculum, and pedagogy is causing all sorts of mayhem in schools, from unmotivated students to initiative fatigue among adults. So what can be done? The best thing we can do to prepare students for an unknown, complex future is to focus on transfer, which is their ability to apply their learning to completely new situations. This simple but powerful approach empowers students to transfer, acquire understanding of the most essential concepts at the heart of a discipline, connect those in relationship, and those connections in the brain are what facilitate transfer to new situations. We have two choices in today's complex world. We can continue the path we are now, where our difficulties making sense of our changing worlds leads to feelings of chaos and overwhelm, which has negative consequences such as addiction and political polarization. Or we can help our students to make sense of their world, which leads to feelings of agency and adaptability. Then we can work to solve complex issues of equity, sustainability, and well-being. Here are 3 simple strategies you can apply today to shift the thinking of students and lay the foundation for learning that transfers. More details in the resource linked below. First is concept attainment, conceptual questions, and finally, concept web. Concept attainment asks students to identify the shared attributes among examples that make the concept what it is. This is an example of scarcity, but I don't have to teach that word right away. I want students to notice that all 4 images show a lack of something or a limited supply, which are the critical attributes of scarcity. Here's an example of probability in mathematics, where students should notice that it's the likelihood or chance of something occurring and can be shown in fraction, decimal, or percent form. Another way to do it is to share examples and non-examples and ask students to notice the difference, like with this example of effective claims and ineffective claims. Put examples of circuits, simple circuits, parallel circuits, examples of mammals, resilience, linear equation, leadership, character, whatever it is. Show students examples and ask them what they notice. Next, students connect 2 or 3 concepts in relationship using these simple question stems. A quick shift for many teachers is to simply turn our key points into conceptual questions. At first, this teacher didn't see the value in changing his practice. But once I plugged his concepts into these questions, he realized the power of students thinking about how the concepts interact for themselves. After we've done this process with around 5 concepts, students create a concept web or concept map. They write each concept on an individual sticky note, and then they arrange them, writing or articulating a paragraph about how all of the concepts interact. What we are doing is building patterns of thought or schema in the brain when we think about how and why concepts interact. And this schema is what facilitates transfer to new situations. It is a hallmark that distinguishes novices from experts in any field. So try it out and let us know how it goes in your classroom. And together, let's combat overwhelm and increase meaning and agency in pursuit of a better world.